today we're back talking about another strategy. We've already talked about zero running back. We already talked about hero running back. We're talking about double hero RB. And I'll be completely honest, this has been a fan favorite for so many years. What is double hero RB? This is where you get an elite level upside running back. You typically get two of them between the first 3 rounds of your fantasy football drafts. Like we said, with hero, you're only getting 1 running back in the first 5 rounds. With zero RB, you're only getting 0 running backs. And so this draft strategy, it's not robust RB. We're not taking the best running back available at each and every pick, but taking 2 hero running backs within the first 3 rounds. It's going to really let us get an advantage at the running back position, but then we can punt that position until later on in the draft. So why are there some reasons that we would do double hero RB? We do want the upside warp chance at wins above replacement if you hit on one of these elite level running backs, like a Christian McCaffrey, like a Le'Veon Bell type, like a Jonathan Taylor from a few years ago. You know that the points per game advantage is so great. Now, the worry that I always have with doing a double hero RB is when we look at the overall numbers that I've been showing you in each and all the videos, the wide receivers tend to get hurt less than their running back counterparts. If you take a look at these 2 graphs, you're going to see the top 20 running backs drafted based on ADP since 2015 and the top 20 wide receivers drafted since 2015, and how these percentages shake out. It makes you really think, hey, I probably should not be taking a ton of running backs just based on the fact that they have similar level upside but less chance of getting hurt. Now, if you like to have ultimate level upside, you might love to have a very clear defined RB2. There are definitely advantages, especially in your home leagues. Running backs tend to go off the board. They fly off the board fast. And in a year like this year, I would say there's around 12 to 13 running backs that I feel super confident in. And then things start to get pretty dicey real quick. We get to the RB dead zone. And in past years, there's been guys like a DeAndre Swift, an Isaiah Pacheco. Even last year, Shaw White was kind of in the RB dead zone. But this year, all the running backs have kind of creeped into that 4th round range. So pretty much the 5th and 6th is pretty desolate of RB talent until you get to about the 7th, when you can pick up DeAndre Swift, who's also in the RB dead zone again. So a lot of great things with double hero RB. Let me know what's your favorite format of drafting down below. Is it double hero? Is it single hero? Is it 0 RB? And so I want to do a quick little draft where we jump in and we do a double hero RB type build. So we start this draft from the 6th pick, and like I said, we're going double hero RB. So here in this circumstance, only CMC is off the board. We got really great 2 great options if we want to go double hero. A guy like Bijan, we could just do him on and wait for 2 running backs in the 2nd and 3rd, but I think Bijan Robinson, he is my RB2. Absolutely love the upside value of him. I've seen Bijan Robinson going at the 1-3, 1-4. So if you can't get him at the 1-6, that feels absolutely great. It's crazy Marvin Harrison Jr. alpha at the 1-12, but we're going to be back up on the clock here. And we just saw a ton of running backs go off the board. Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams. If you haven't checked out my top 50 overall rankings, make sure you check that out. Put that out yesterday. But we're going to go with Travis Etienne here, get that 2nd hero RB. So we've kind of gone, like we said, we've drafted a ton of great value. Honestly, Travis Etienne after Puka Nacua is off the board. I absolutely love that. This is a 12-man. You're just your standard league where you're 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, 1 overall flex. And so we're back up on the clock here, and we can start to address some of the other positions on our board. I have Nico Collins rated higher than Mike Evans, so I'm going to go with Nico Collins as my first wide receiver off the board. And we'll have to see what values end up coming back to us. A guy like Josh Allen at the 212, we had 310, Patrick Mahomes at the 39. Is Jalen Hurts going to fall to us here? Oh my goodness, Jalen Hurts falls to us here at the 4th round. This has been happening more and more to me. A guy like Cooper Kupp's also pretty intriguing. So do we wait on quarterback and see if we can do a late round quarterback build with the double hero? Or we go with an elite level talent with Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp because I'm pretty confident that I can get an elite level quarterback in the back end. Yeah, I get a guy like Kyler in the 6th, but it's crazy that CJ Stroud went ahead of Jalen Hurts in this format. So we're back up on the board. We got 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, so we can kind of take the best player available. I would love to have had like a guy like a Dalton Kincaid fall. Mark Andrews went before this pick, so we could have argued that I should have taken Trey McBride there and then come back and grabbed one of these wide receivers that I like in the back end, but I'm okay with it because I will take a shot on Tank Dell as my kind of flex wide receiver. I have him a spot ahead of T. Higgins, so T. Higgins would have been a potential grab there, but I do feel fairly confident in this. Now we're back up on the clock, and like we said, we need to address the tight end and the quarterback position here over the next few picks, and it's the 6-7, and so Kyle Pitts is already off the board. George Kittle's also off the board. Quarterback wise, a guy like Kyler would be intriguing. I don't think Kyler's going to fall back to us. I think one of these teams, especially the Trey McBride team, is probably going to take him on one of their next 2 picks. So I could reach on that, or I could reach on a guy like Evan Ingram for tight end. I think we'll continue to punt the tight end spot. Like we said, we got to stay water here, ladies and gentlemen. There are some good wide receivers available, but we're going to reach down the board and grab Kyler because I feel so comfortable with Kyler, especially I have him a spot ahead of Joe Burrow. So it feels really good. So let's see on the back end, is Evan Ingram going to potentially fall to us? Fingers crossed. And nope, sniped 1 pick ahead. I mean, the CPU must know that I needed a tight end, so they went with tight end. And a guy like David Njoku, I'm pretty cool with later on, Jake Ferguson. So in a 12-man, you don't love to punt the tight end position, but we can kind of do that here. Let's take a high-end upside shot on Jaden Reed, continue to build out that wide receiver core after absolutely getting 2 elite level running backs. So I'm liking how this team is kind of filling out. We got our wide receiver 4 with Jaden Reed. You could argue that I'd feel very comfortable with Jaden Reed as my flex option, but we're going to be back up on the clock, and this feels a little bit better in the range to grab a guy like David Njoku. I think David Njoku and Evan Ingram, there's a little bit of a tier gap for me in the tight end rankings, but I did get that round 1 discount for David Njoku. We're going to be back up on the clock, and we're taking Jonathan Brooks, and having Bijan and Travis Etienne, I can wait on Jonathan Brooks for that back end half season. If something were to happen to Bijan or Travis Etienne, I could play the waiver wire. So I do feel really comfortable with this build so far. I just wish we would have gotten a little bit better of a tight end value instead of Tank Dell, but that's okay. You can kind of live and learn how you want to play your fantasy football drafts. And we're going to be back up on the clock here, and we're grabbing Curtis Samuel. We're just going to continue to build out. We got 3 more bench spots, 5 more picks in this draft, and we'll probably start to we'll always address the kicker and tight end last. So we got 3 more picks, and if I'm looking at this draft board, we probably need to address a few more running backs. We'll grab a guy like a Zach Charbonnet to be our RB4 in case something were to happen to Kenneth Walker. He could provide some value, and or we could slide him into our lineup if we need be with Bijan or Travis Etienne. So we're going to be back up on the clock, and we're probably going to need another receiver. I like Josh Palmer. I think a lot of people are undervaluing this Los Angeles Chargers overall offense. Put Josh Palmer in this offense with Ladd McConkey, with Justin Herbert. They're going to have to throw the ball at some point. So give me some Josh Palmer. And like I said, we got 1 more bench spot before we start taking our defense and our kicker. And so if we're looking at the whole kind of board together, we might need to take a second tight end. I like to get an elite level quarterback and elite level tight end and then play the waivers for them if I need a replacement at any point. But with this team, we definitely feel the risk of a guy like David Njoku. So we'll grab a guy like Ben Sinnott. He can be just our waiver wire dump if we need to see someone that we need to pick up. But of course, we're going to grab our kicker and defense next. Will a guy like the Dallas Cowboys defense, will that fall to us here in this last round? Yes. So we get the Dallas Cowboys defense, feel very comfortable with the Dallas Cowboys defense. And then we're going to get at kicker, the best kicker available here on the back end, whichever that's going to be. I've been ending up with a lot of Jason Myers, so I'll grab Daniel Carlson. I think the offense is going to be good enough to get them in position, but they're not going to score a whole lot. So if we pull up this draft, you see we got Kyler Murray as our quarterback, Bijan, Travis Etienne, Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, David Njoku, Jaden Reed, Jonathan Brooks, Curtis Samuel, Zach Charbonnet, Josh Palmer, Dallas Cowboys defense, Daniel Carlson. This would be the perfect example for me of going double hero RB. It doesn't always fall that way. In the case that somehow we weren't able to get, like when we were looking at the draft board, if we weren't able to get Bijan, like let's say Bijan and Brees had already come off the board, I would be fine taking a guy like a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown there at the 1-6, and then we could have come around like in the third at the 3-6, and we could have just grabbed a guy like Rachaad White, or if potentially like a Josh Jacobs would have fallen, I would have felt good with that overall start. I do think when you go double hero, it is beneficial to go your top 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds, because I think the talent, and I know the talent pretty much middle of the 3rd round on, is risky to just think that that's how you're going to do your double hero RB draft. Listen, I say it all the time. Hero RB is my favorite draft method. This, for you old heads, could be super beneficial. The 2 elite level running backs off the jump, and then you address every other position. I think if you're going to do this is the best method to do it instead of doing like a robust RB. But I wanted to do a method for you old heads because you guys absolutely love your running backs. I love my running backs too. And especially in your standard, your half PPR, these running backs are going to be going off the board a little bit earlier. So if you like double hero RB, if you like fantasy football strategy, we are getting ready and geared up for the season. A lot more videos to come each and every day. So hit that like and subscribe button on the way to 3,000 subscribers. Once you're here in the community, super pumped. We're going to be doing some live streams next week where we're answering your start sit questions. It's insane that we're already in that time of year. So like I said, appreciate you guys. Check out these 2 videos if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.